Hello and welcome to an update video on Tropical Storm Ian. Tropical Storm Ian on the 5 p.m. update is moving west at 16 miles per hour. It is down to 1003 millibars, has maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. Let's take a look at Ian on satellite, shall we? As you can see here, at the moment, it's not really all that organized, but you'll see on the northwest side there's some convection. And down here on the southeast side, there's an area of convection that's starting to form. Somewhere around in here is the center of circulation. And the storm is expected to continue to move west, at least for a little while longer. And then we're going to start to see it gradually turn northwest. Here's the National Hurricane Center official forecast. And as you can see here, as we come into 2 p.m. Sunday, it will have made that turn west-northwest. And then by Monday at 2 a.m. it is expected to be a hurricane, and it is expected to quickly strengthen into a major hurricane as it clips the western side of Cuba. And at that point it will be a Category 3 hurricane. And that will happen sometime on late Tuesday morning, maybe around like 10 or 11 a.m. Then by Tuesday afternoon it's back into the Gulf of Mexico, and it is expected to continue to be a major hurricane. Now you will see here the track, at that point, the cone of uncertainty gets bigger and bigger. By Wednesday, it's still a major hurricane here in the Gulf of Mexico, and they have it being a hurricane right on up through to Florida, almost to the Panhandle, and there's a lot of uncertainty here in the models, and we'll get into that. As you can see here, the cone of uncertainty stretches all the way from the western border of the Panhandle all the way down to here, Orlando, and just to the west of Orlando you have Tampa Bay, which that's an area that needs to watch out because they would see strong rip currents and strong winds, as we know with hurricanes and tropical cyclones in the Atlantic and Gulf basins. Typically the strongest is on the east side of the storm. Now coming over here, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures. So the storm is going to be coming into some very warm waters, and as you can see here on our grade here, you have temperatures that are almost pushing 30 Celsius. That's extremely warm, almost 90-degree water temperatures in some spots, and that is like octane for tropical systems. Tropical systems love warm water like that. Well, because of that, here's what the models do. First of all, let's take a look here at the GEFS ensembles, and as you can see, it comes across here. It continues just like the Hurricane Center has, but look what happens here. The track comes slightly more west to the Florida Panhandle, but you can see even on the mean of the GEFS, it gets between 964 and 967 millibars. That's a very strong Cat 2 borderlining Cat 3 hurricane. But look at some of the members here. You have this pink, you have the purple shade. Any of the pinks and the purple, that's sub 950 millibars, even sub 940 millibars. And at 950 millibars, you're talking a strong Category 3. Sub 940, you're talking a Category 4. And some of them do show it becoming a Category 4 for a short period of time. Do I think it's going to get the Category 4? It's too soon to say. But I definitely think we are looking at a Category 3, and I do agree with the National Hurricane Center. Where the question remains is, where is this going to make landfall on the U.S.? Is it going to come to the Panhandle? Is it going to come more east towards the west coast of Florida? If we switch this up and take a look at the 18Z tropical plots, as you can see here, some of them definitely do still come towards Tallahassee. But then you have one here that goes all the way west out in the Gulf, and, well, if that continued going, who knows, that would go Texas or Louisiana. But there's a large number that go between the western Panhandle and the eastern part of the Panhandle. And it does look like the track for the NHC, it's going to continue to shift west a little bit more, unless models start shifting back east. Now remember here, these are tropical plots. Do not use this map to make decisions. Seek official info. You want to continue to follow what the National Hurricane Center is showing. And remember, we are several days out. look at these numbers on here. See here, we're looking in the Gulf of Mexico, where it's parallel with Tampa Bay out here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's 120 hours out. 120 hours out in the model world, that's quite a bit of time. And we could easily see 200 to 300 miles shift west or 200 to 300 miles shift east. That's the way it works with the models. As we come down to tomorrow, that narrows down a little bit to maybe 150 to 200 miles shift west, 150 to 200 miles shift east possibility. Then as you come to Monday, it narrows down to 100, then it narrows down to 50 some miles. And at that point, it's pretty much, you want to be prepared, brace for impact wherever this is going to direct hit. And let's continue on here. Here's the tropical intensities. And you can see the intensity of the tropical models, almost all of them, except for just a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, only get to a category 1 for some reason. Almost all of them go up to a category 3, and there's a large number of them that take this to a category 4 now. So we'll have to watch. I think it's set in stone that this probably will get to a category 3. If it gets to a 4, it's not going to really mean much at landfall. The only thing it will mean is that it's going to take longer for it to wind back down. Because as we go here to the GFS, and this is the latest run just in, you will see here on the GFS, it does get down to 942 millibars by Cuba, then 936, then 931, but watch what happens as it gets further north in the Gulf of Mexico. The waters are slightly cooler closer to the panhandle, so watch. You'll see the storm does weaken slightly. 940, 946, 955, and then finally a landfall around 967. So at that point, it may weaken to a Category 2 at landfall, and if we go back to the National Hurricane Center, they do have that. It drops below major hurricane status. It drops down to a Category 2. So here's what we know. We know Ian is going to rapidly strengthen in this area here as it's crossing Cuba and enters the Gulf of Mexico. After that, anyone from, say, western coast of Florida, all the way over to the Panhandle, and I know they're not showing it here, even the Mississippi and Alabama coast, I would prepare yourself for impact. Even if it does not directly hit you, this is going to become a larger storm. And impacts will be felt several hundred miles out from the storm. So there will be extreme storm surge on the west coast of Florida. There will be storm surge and coastal flooding also as far west as back to the Mississippi coast and the Alabama coast. I am right now favoring a landfall somewhere in the Florida Panhandle. Landfall will probably likely be at this point, unless it slows down or speeds up, sometime late on Thursday. And that is basically the latest of what we know right now. So keep checking back for more updates. I will do another update tomorrow. And as we get closer, I'll do multiple updates a day and maybe even do a live stream this week. Alright, thanks for watching, and take this storm seriously. Start preparing now if you're in the areas that I listed here. And have a plan. If you are told to evacuate, please follow the evacuation orders. This will be a serious storm. Take it seriously. Thanks for watching, and to see more videos like this and the other stuff that we do related to the pandemic, hit like and subscribe down below. Have a good night.